Welcome to Allies or Enemies. Today, we are looking at Disney Sorcerer's Arena Epic Alliances, designed by Sean Fletcher. We'll also be taking a peek at the first expansion, Turning the Tide. Disney's Sorcerer's Arena is kind of based on the mobile app of the same name. It's one of those time-suck apps that makes you grind levels and collect new characters. But though you can see the seeds, thankfully, this is a much fuller experience. The board game Sorcerer's Arena is a skirmish game for 2 players, or 4 players if you play in teams, in which each player chooses a team of 3 villains or heroes or a mix, and throws them into the titular arena to duke it out for points. It's a simple card-based system. Think a lighter Unmatched, but with a few interesting tweaks, and a lot of transparent standees. But let's come back to all of that right after we look at how it plays.
Once players have chosen their teams of 3, shuffled all their character decks into a big combined pile, and set up the initiative track, they will be ready to rumble. In Sorcerer's Arena, players compete to be the first to 20 points. Points are scored by standing on point spaces, knocking out rival characters, or occasionally with specific cards. Players alternate turns, moving down the initiative track 1 character at a time. On their turn, players can move, attack, and use a skill. They can do these once, but in any order they want. For moving and attacking, players can use their base value, which is usually 2, or play one of the active character cards they have in their hand, which have a wide range of character-specific abilities. Sometimes these powers add positive or negative effects, which are all tracked on the initiative track. Sometimes they create opportunities for big hits. Anytime anyone is KO'd, points are scored, and the character will respawn on the next round on any of the diamond spaces and just get right back into the fray. Once either side gets to 20 points, the battle ends and the greatest sorcerer is crowned.
The components here are a bit of a mixed bag, although for a game that clearly has mass market intentions, it is more good than bad. The cards are fine, but basic, no linen or anything, and you'd certainly want to sleeve these if you plan on playing a lot. The tokens and coins and status effect markers are all decent, and the status markers in particular are actually pretty clever with how they lock into the initiative track. The problem is there are just barely enough of all of them. The damage dials are smart too, but a smidge fiddly to pull on and off, and the board does the job well, but could have maybe used a smidge more art. The star here are the transparent standees, which are pretty cool. They come with protective stickers that kept them unscratched, and they look really good on the board, though they can get loose in the bases after a bit. We should also note that our core box was weirdly missing all of the standees at first, but replacements were sent ASAP, so no complaints about the customer service.
The biggest selling point for this game will be the character variety. Every character plays differently. A lot of thought's gone into bringing out these individual personalities. Mickey uses his magic broom, Dr. Facilier throws curses all over the place, Sully is a tank protecting his friends, and Demona flies about just blowing people up. Also, the character choices are interesting with a nice mix of all-stars and deep cuts. We loved seeing the gargoyles represented alongside the big guns like Aladdin or Ariel from Little Mermaid, and obviously the treasure trove of possible expansion characters is all but infinite. There's already 1 expansion available in Turning the Tide, which adds Stitch, Moana, and Davy Jones, and there are some interesting new mechanics in there, including Moana's water spaces that help other oceanic team members, which feels like a hint of some of the keyword-based team building that might be coming down the pipe.
Though the box says 2 or 4, this really is a one-on-one game with a variant. This is built for 2 players making a trio and smashing some Disney-branded cartoon characters into one another until someone wins, and it really does shine at that count. That said, there is a team variant available, which works just fine. The 4-player version has 2 teams of 4 characters, with each player controlling 2 characters. There is a bit more mayhem with the fuller board, but also a bit more of a feeling of helping each other out. It's a nice inclusion, but it is unlikely to be the main way you play.
Disney Sorcerer's Arena Epic Alliances has as much branding as you might expect, but as our shelves of Disney villainous and Marvel champions would attest, we can sometimes be suckers for plastic shaped like stuff that we like. The good news is there is a decent game in there. It's certainly light and it's built for the mass market, but keeping in mind who the audience is and what it's based on, we were pleasantly surprised by this card-based punch 'em up. Plus, because there are easier rule levels available, it can be adapted for younger kids who can grow into it. It isn't going to replace Unmatched anytime soon, and the almost certain waves of expansions are going to dent your wallet. But if you are in the market for a light, quick skirmish game that lets you make Moana throw a tidal wave at Maleficent, you could do a lot worse. And that is it. Have you tried Disney Sorcerer's Arena? Have you tried the app? Have you deleted the app after realizing you played it all morning when you should have been working on this video? Also, please let us know about any other skirmish games you might recommend. And as always, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully, we'll see you all next time for another game.